Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars and welcome to my third classic Denzel Washington film review. This is a series of new classic film reviews that I'm doing. I'm doing 3 classic film reviews starring one famous actor or director, and then I do a top 10 list of my favourite films. So the third one that I've chosen to do for Denzel Washington, as you can see, is Virtuosity, the 1995 action science fiction film that stars, obviously, Denzel Washington. We get Russell Crowe in one of his earliest Hollywood appearances. We get Kelly Lynch, we get Steven Spinella, William Forsythe, William Fincher, and it's directed by Brett Leonard. Now, this film is probably my guiltiest pleasure in regards to a Denzel Washington film. It's the closest you'll ever get to a B movie in Denzel Washington's film catalogue, probably. This film is cheesy as hell, but massively entertaining. And if you've never seen it, this film focuses on Denzel Washington's character, Parker Barnes, who you see at the beginning of this film. He is taking part in like a virtual reality exercise. Him and somebody else have been put in this virtual world to try and track down Sid 6.7, who's a computer generated serial killer. And it's like it's supposed to be like a training program for the police, and it's in its gestation period. It's being tested, and Denzel Washington's character, Parker Barnes, is a criminal. He's a former cop who was jailed for going overboard and killing civilians when his family was murdered by a political terrorist called Mason Grimes some years previously. So he's taking part in this VR simulation. Doesn't necessarily go according to plan, but he gets very close to capturing Sid 6.7. Gets taken out of this VR system, taken back to jail, and the creator of this VR program and creator of Sid 6.7 knows that they're going to shut down the program. They don't think it's safe. So he decides he's going to bring Sid 6.7 into the real world by using some tech babble twaddle that you know is not realistic. And he's unleashed onto the world Sid 6.7, played by Russell Crowe, in wonderful fashion. And he's like a child in a new world, completely chaotic, murderous, and the only way they can stop him is by bringing Denzel Washington out of prison, giving him his badge back, and basically saying, catch him and you will get a pardon. So they stick something in his brain to track him, partner him up with Kelly Lynch, who's a criminal psychologist, and off they go to try and track down Russell Crowe's Sid 6.7, who's running havoc across the city. So that's the story of Virtuosity. So what do I think of this film? And as I've said, it's a massive guilty pleasure. It is such a fun film, this. It really is. You can see Russell Crowe is having an absolute ball with this character. He is completely pantomime, over the top, but fantastic with it. It's so tongue-in-cheek, you can't help but love his performance. And the other side of that coin is Denzel Washington's performance, that's deadpan, serious, full on. So you've got one pantomime villain completely going over the top, and I mean completely. I've never quite seen Russell Crowe like this since. He's really dialed it up, this performance. And then you've got Denzel Washington's completely the opposite to him. And Denzel Washington realises fairly quickly while they're investigating that the political terrorist that murdered his family, that got him put in prison, is part of Sid 6.7, because Sid 6.7 is a computer program that has been created and generated by all these maniacs and serial killers that have been shoved into his personality. And one of the serial killers that is prominent in that personality is Mason Grimes, the killer who murdered Denzel Washington's family. So it becomes personal as well for Denzel Washington, and Sid 6.7 likes nothing more than taunting Denzel Washington's character Parker Barnes. In fact, one of the scenes he actually says, look, just because I'm carrying the joy of killing your family inside me doesn't mean we can't have fun. It's just a brilliant line, and this film is absolutely packed full of cheesy one-liners, great lines, and it's one of those films that you will not watch and think, wow, this is a cinematic masterpiece, because it really isn't, but it's bloody good fun. And this film came on the back of Denzel Washington doing things like Philadelphia, and he'd already done Glory by this time, so he'd already got his first Oscar. So he was a prominent actor, and it was a brave choice to take this role for Denzel Washington, in my opinion, because it could have been frowned upon by Hollywood, because it's a completely stupid, silly concept at the time. It was, you had things like Lawnmower Man and stuff around this time. And so it was like VR and stuff was big in the movies at this point. They were doing a few things like it. So it was a brave choice, I think, from Denzel Washington. And it completely pays off, in my opinion, because you get a massively highly entertaining science fiction action film here that's super fun to watch, and definitely enjoyable. So what is my rating here for Virtuosity? Well, I'm going to be a little bit generous. I'm not so sure it just warrants an 8 out of 10, but I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 because it's a great nostalgia film for me. I used to watch it loads in the 90s, this film. I really loved it. I watched it again to prepare for this review, and I really enjoyed it again. Yes, the effects have aged a little bit, but they're still watchable and bearable, and it's a highly entertaining film, this. So if you've never seen Virtuosity, if you're only used to Denzel Washington and his powerhouse performances and things, you need to check this film out, because it's a great film and it's lots of fun to watch. So get ready. Coming up this weekend probably will be my top 10 Denzel Washington films, so I look forward to putting that up on the channel, and I hope you enjoy it when it does. So once again, thank you very much for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time on Screen Stars.